Three most terrifying things that Elon Musk is doing right now, in no particular order because they're all pretty terrifying. Number one, he's trying to gain access to everyone's private banking information through the IRS. So right now, he's explaining to a judge that he needs access to all of our personal IRS information, and the judge is saying why, and Musk doesn't really have a particularly good answer other than government efficiency. Now, why he needs millions of Americans' personal data is beyond me. But this isn't just a matter of him finding out how the government works and supposedly improve it. It's literally a matter of having access to everyone's retirement information, where you've worked, how you've worked, and your banking information. The kinds of harm that could be used to do, ranging from blackmailing you to affecting your ability to apply for other jobs to manipulating you, is just infinite. And the fact is that there's nothing to stop them from going into a government building at this point with a thumb drive, popping it in and saving all of your personal data. What this leads to is the second terrifying thing, which is the fact that no one working for Elon Musk is currently vetted. In other words, we're not checking to make sure that they don't have any kind of prior illegal activities, that they don't have associations with enemy governments, nothing. We have no idea who these people are or what their motivations are or the ways that they might be compromised by other governments. In other words, if you do something like illegal or unethical, or there's some video of you doing something, sometimes enemy governments will use that information and say, unless you give us access to X, Y, or Z, we're going to release that. So in other words, we could right now be having people working for the government who are putting backdoors, keyloggers. We have no idea. In other words, you can just let your paranoid fantasies rip because there's no way to be sure who's doing what, because there's no oversight whatsoever for anyone who's doing any of this. Now, you may be fine with that until you realize that it also includes your personal information, because they're trying to access things like Social Security. There's been a big fight over Social Security recently, and that's the third scary thing, right? That's led to high-level resignations because they're trying to access everyone's personal Social Security information, but they're also using it to try and undermine faith in Social Security. So Musk has come out saying things like, look, there's all of these 150-year-olds who are still receiving checks. When asked to prove that they're receiving checks, he has not been able to do so. In fact, it's probably just a dumb coding error that results in anyone who doesn't have a birth date being marked as having a birth date of 1875. That being said, the system is also set that as soon as someone hits 115, it automatically cuts off. But we need actual proof that any of it is happening in the first place, and he hasn't provided it. But it does benefit business and Republicans tremendously if they can undermine faith in Social Security, because they've been wanting to get rid of it for a long time. Because the more people who can't retire, the more people who are desperate to continue to work, the cheaper a labor force, and an easily abused labor force, that they'll have access to. They're going to say it's to make everything more efficient, but think about how often business runs things worse than the government. Look at the BP oil spill, or all of the banks that were doing illegal and stupid business that resulted in the housing market collapse.